Before I wrap up, Stephen Kinnock.
Thank you very much, Chair, and thanks, Mr. Ahern, for your fascinating evidence. I just wanted, I think, to ask a more, if you like, strategic or philosophical question, if you like, about the future of the European Union. Given your vast experience in the EU and the many, many European Council meetings that you've attended, and your insights about the role that the EU plays, both in terms of fostering bilateral relationships and multilateral relationships within the EU and indeed globally. Do you think that there is, in any way, an opportunity with Brexit for it to be a reset moment, not just for the United Kingdom, but also a reset moment for the European Union? As you'll know, President Macron and others have talked about a multi-tier European Union, and perhaps this idea that the kind of one-size-fits-all top-down approach to integration hasn't always worked for all member states. And if we were to pursue a path on Brexit, which in essence made the United Kingdom into a country that has a very close, if you like, market-based relationship with the European Union, frictionless trade, something along the lines of the European Economic Area, plus a form of customs union, but we're not in the political institutions, and if you like, one step removed then from the deeper political project, if you like. Do you think that could be the beginning of a new way of Europe and the European project working, and that you could move towards this sort of multi-tier Europe, perhaps with some of the Central and Eastern European countries, the Nordics, with the United Kingdom, and it would be a kind of a geo-strategic shift. Do you think that Brexit could potentially present an opportunity in that sense? And what's your sense, based on your insights and experience in the EU, of what you think the appetite for that multi-tier, multi-speed Europe could be?
Yeah, the concept, there's a number of things in that. I just try to be brief. The idea of the multi-tiered Europe is not a new one. It's been around for a quarter of a century. Two-tiered Europe, as they used to call it. The French and German were looking at this back in the 80s and the 90s. I think if it had been a few years ago, I would have answered your question by saying multilateralism is the right way of dealing with things and going forward. But with the advent of anti-multilateralists like President Trump and others, the world has changed, and I think it will evolve. I think the EU will continue to evolve. Personally, I would have liked to have seen it evolve with the United Kingdom being a member. Because I think it would have, like the changes that I've seen in the years I was in the Council, the Single European Act, which was your achievement, made a huge difference. It made a huge difference to trade and to business for the island of Ireland. The changes in the Economic and Monetary Union and how that evolved, you're at the very heart of all of those decisions. So I think Europe will continue to evolve, and there'll be changes, in leadership. I think maybe the vision isn't as clear now as it would have been maybe when President Delors was outlining his kind of vision whenever it was 25 years ago. But with the UK out, I'm not too sure how that'll evolve, but from an Irish perspective, we're going to stay in. There's huge support, nearly 90%, 87% support in the single market. But can I say, as we come to the end, our interest is being as close as possible to the UK. We want to have as harmonious a relationship as we can, not just to do with trade and business, but to do with our historical position as it now evolves. So Brexit or no Brexit, that's what the Irish people want to do. And we'll just have to see how Europe moves on into the future. But we will be part of that Europe, but it's not going to be, I believe, in any way to the detriment of our relationship with the UK, and we just have to find ways that we can keep that as strong as it has been, particularly in the last 45 years, and more particularly in the last 22 since the Good Friday Agreement. I mean, that's in our interest to do, and I think any future, and this government are trying to do that, I think any future Irish government will do that as well. There is nobody in Ireland celebrating the fact, and I deeply regret it. I mean, I was horrified the night of the vote, but, you know, it wasn't the first vote I lost in my life, or first vote that I saw going the opposite way, but that's the way the world is. And now you just have to do your best to make sure that the damage limitation is not too bad.